Dallas, Jim Nill needs a coach, and he's got a lot on his plate. Jason Robertson, just because the Flames in Dallas have made a trade for a D. It seems like Rasmus would be a great fit in Dallas, but there's not a lot of money and there's a lot going on. Not specifically on that, but I guess Robertson and where Dallas is headed.
Yeah. Well, it's a tricky one to try and renovate that roster in Dallas. I mean, they extend Jamie Benn creatively on a 1-year deal that's bonus laden, so no shock there. They get Matt Duchene done. They want to do that. Fair deal for both the player and the club. You know, the Jason Robertson rumor for me has been out there mostly because of the interest that has been attached to Mitch Marner and the possibility of Marner going to the Dallas Stars. And I wouldn't say that is unfounded. I think for sure Dallas would have interest in Marner. And in fact, I'm reminded of a rumor that kind of surfaced around midseason, maybe a little bit beyond that, second half of the year, where it was believed Toronto was having conversations with the likes of Vegas and maybe Dallas, two top teams at that point in the West outside of Winnipeg. And obviously Marner wasn't going there. But you know, what would a trade look like? In season, to make a deal of that magnitude rips apart your club. So I don't think that it was ever seriously considered by Toronto or Vegas or Dallas at that point. But if you're willing to have a Marner conversation, if your ownership and management of the Dallas Stars, then that has to be at the expense of Jason Robertson. And they like Jason Robertson. Mm-hmm. They do. And the market for Jason Robertson, you know, he's a scorer. You know, when he's healthy, this guy can flat out put the puck in the net. So it would be high, but I feel like there's a bit of a waiting out process before they get to that point. There has to be that conversation. Okay, do we honestly feel like there is a market for Marner? Everybody keeps looking at Vegas. Well, it can't be Vegas today or it's tampering. So if Marner hasn't signed in Vegas July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, all right, if you're Dallas, maybe you do try and take a swing because moving Jason Robertson isn't going to be a challenge. There'd be a ton of interest in him.
Dallas is interesting to me because they've been good. Yeah. And is this the San Jose scenario where you just, but then you hear, oh, we got to make changes. We're up against, can't he just be patient for a while? Jim Nill, like,
yeah,
as good as Rasmus Anderson might look in a Stars jersey, and as much as he might help, they went to the semifinals. They didn't play well, I didn't think.
Right.
They're going to make a change at coaching. These guys aren't falling off the map if they don't go and make a change or sign a free agent. Like
but you know what, Rhett? They were pissed that they weren't in the Stanley Cup final. They really felt like, even though they obviously didn't prove it against the Oilers, they were the better team and felt like they would have been better prepared to give the Panthers a run. I'm not so sure of that. You know, Ottinger wasn't as good as he needed to be. You know, you had the drama, of course, with Pete DeBoer, who's no longer with the organization. Some of their younger guys just weren't able to find their legs, like Wyatt Johnson, who, in my opinion, is a star.
Too.
Sure. I'm with you. I don't see a lot wrong in the Dallas Stars. I don't. So, to get Rasmus Anderson, man, you're blowing it up to a point. Like what are you giving up? You're giving up a young player or a decent prospect, and the Dallas organization does have good young prospects, both at the NHL level and developing. But is it worth that? I didn't think their blue line was really that bad. I mean, It was unhealthy to your point, but
you think back, it's just got to be for Jim Nill and even ownership, because it was in the bubble, with Corey Perry, and they go all the way, and then 3 consecutive semifinals and all of that. But I'm with you.
But one team wins, and I don't think it's. Drake's made the best point. Is that, are you going to blow up? You're going to make major changes in the offseason because I don't know.
There's a tipping point where you
can just wait. And plus, if you roll that team out there again, and they're going to get home ice throughout the playoffs, you can wait till the trade deadline to decide what you need to do. It's not like you're going to be on the outside looking in if you don't make a move this offseason.
Yeah, and let's find out who the coach is, right? If they promote Neil Graham, who's the head coach of the Texas Stars, the American League team, well, that's a pretty easy transition. It is, and Glenn Gulletson is right there. I wouldn't be surprised if Gully's the guy that actually gets the job back in Dallas. But either way, you got to allow that coach to have some influence into the direction that you need to go. Let him work with the players that you have, especially your younger guys, before you start pulling it apart. So I think that's the smarter play. And look, I mean, none of us should be advising Jim Nill. This guy has been around a long time and won more than we would win in 10 lifetimes, but I'm sure he's got it figured out, and he definitely will not do anything knee-jerk.
Hey, buddies, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.